The champagne flutes caught the light like tiny stars. I stood in the corner of the ballroom I owned, wearing my earth-toned blazer and worn shoes, watching my ex-wife announce her engagement to a man who didn't know I'd funded his first deal. Delilah wore red. She always wore red when she wanted attention. Camden Voss stood beside her, hand on her waist, smile practiced and empty. Real estate mogul, the program said. Flash over foundation. To new beginnings, she announced, voice carrying across the room. To finally choosing happiness. The room applauded. I didn't move. Her eyes found me across the crowd. For a second, something flickered. Guilt? Recognition? Then she looked away. Camden leaned close to a colleague. I heard him clearly. That's the ex-husband. Sad little guy. Fixed our heating system earlier. Laughter rippled around him. I finished my water, set the glass down gently, walked toward the exit without looking back. The coordinator stopped me near the door. Mr. Granger, thank you for coming on such short notice. The heating issue could have ruined everything. I nodded. Didn't mention I owned the building. Didn't mention the trust that paid for the champagne they were drinking. Outside, snow fell quiet and clean. The city hummed with Friday night energy. I pulled out my phone. Made one call. It's time, I said. Start closing the taps. The call had come 3 hours before the gala. The event coordinator, voice frantic and apologetic. Mr. Granger, I'm so sorry to bother you, but the heating system is failing. The gala starts in 4 hours. Can you please come check it? I was still listed as building maintenance contact. An old habit from when I preferred staying invisible to being seen. I'd arrived early, fixed the thermostat myself, watched staff set up tables with white linens, watched them hang banners with Delilah and Camden's names intertwined in elegant script. The coordinator didn't know I owned the building through a shell trust. Nobody did. She thought I was just the handyman, the helpful guy who kept things running. I let her think it. While I was there, in the storage room checking the furnace, my phone buzzed. Monthly trust statement from my accountant. I opened it, scanned the numbers with practiced efficiency. There it was. Line item 47. Loan disbursement. Camden Voss Development LLC. Co-signer Delilah Granger. $300,000. Backed by a trust Camden didn't know existed. Funds from a portfolio I'd built over 22 years while Delilah thought I was just steady. Just average. Just enough to pay the bills. I forwarded the statement to my lawyer with a simple message. Subject line, begin documentation. Then I went upstairs, put on my blazer, became invisible again, because that's what I'd always been good at, being present without being seen. Delilah married me thinking I was simple, stable, safe. She divorced me thinking the same thing. She was wrong on both counts. I learned about the ring 2 days after the gala. My accountant called while I was having coffee in my quiet kitchen. Ellis, there's an interesting charge I thought you should know about. Camden purchased a ring from Hartwell Jewelers. 4-carat diamond, $68,000. I set down my cup carefully. And? He paid with a performance bonus for Meridian Holdings. I went quiet. Meridian was one of mine, a regional supplier I'd acquired 7 years ago through a private trust. Built it from a failing operation into something profitable. He works for Meridian? Consulting contract, strategic planning services. They paid him $90,000 last quarter. I leaned back in my chair, stared at the ceiling. Let the irony wash over me. Camden had bought Delilah's engagement ring with money from a company I controlled. Money he'd earned because I'd approved the consulting budget without knowing his name was on it. The universe had a dark sense of humor. Ellis? My accountant's voice pulled me back. Are you there? I'm here. What do you want to do about this? I thought about that. Thought about Delilah's words at the divorce lawyer's office. You'll never be more than average, Ellis. I need someone who dreams bigger. About Camden's laugh at the gala. About the way they'd looked at me like I was furniture that needed replacing. I want to unravel it, I said quietly. All of it. But not with noise, not with drama. With silence? Exactly. Piece by piece, let them think everything's fine until it's not. My accountant was quiet for a moment. Then, I'll prepare the documentation. Ellis, this will take time. Good, I replied. I have nothing but time and patience. I hung up and opened a file on my laptop, started a spreadsheet. Every connection, every thread, every place their lives touched mine without them knowing. The list was longer than I'd expected. The day Delilah asked for the divorce, spring was just starting to arrive. Tulips blooming in the garden she'd planted, light streaming through the kitchen windows. She sat across from me at breakfast, coffee growing cold between us, toast untouched on her plate. "I'm tired of stability," she said without preamble. "I want more, Ellis. I want excitement, passion. I want to feel alive again." I looked up from my toast. "You don't feel alive?" "Not the way I should." She twisted her wedding ring, 22 years on her finger. "You're a good man, solid, dependable, but good isn't enough anymore." "Okay," she blinked surprised. "Okay? If you want a divorce, I won't fight you. I won't make it difficult. You won't even ask me to stay, to try counseling?" I could have told her everything right then, about the portfolio, the properties scattered across 3 states, the quiet empire I'd built while she ran her boutique and thought I was just a mid-level manager. Instead, I said simply, "I want you to be happy, Delilah." She left 3 weeks later. I helped her pack, carried boxes to her car, didn't cry until she drove away, and I stood alone in the driveway. That night, going through old files and emails, I found one dated 8 months before the divorce. From Delilah to Camden. Subject line, "When this is over. Can't wait to finally start our life together. Just need to get through the exit cleanly. Ellis won't fight. He never does. He's too passive." She'd been planning this for months, maybe longer, while I was paying for her father's medical bills anonymously, keeping her boutique afloat without her knowing, funding the life she thought she'd built alone. I closed the laptop slowly, started planning too. Nina called me on a Tuesday afternoon. Delilah's daughter from her first marriage, 26 years old, smart, perceptive, suspicious of Camden from the very start. "Ellis, can we talk? It's important." We met at a quiet cafe downtown. She ordered tea but didn't touch it. Just wrapped her hands around the cup like she needed the warmth. "I don't like him," she said without preamble. "Camden, I don't trust him." I waited, let her find her words. "He's using her, Ellis, using Mom's name, her connections, her reputation." "Tell me." Nina leaned forward, voice low. "There's a development contract, a big one, city rezoning project on the east side. Camden's been name-dropping Mom everywhere, at investor meetings, at City Hall, saying she has connections to the planning board." "Does she?" "No, but he's making people think she does. He's using her reputation to land investors, to get meetings, and if it falls apart, she's the one who'll take the hit." I stirred my coffee slowly, carefully. "Why are you telling me this?" "Because you still care about her, even after everything, even after the way she left you." I didn't deny it, didn't confirm it either. Nina continued, urgency creeping into her voice. "He's going to hurt her, financially, maybe even legally. I can feel it in my gut." "What do you want me to do?" "I don't know. Watch out for her? Protect her? Even if she doesn't deserve it anymore?" I looked at Nina, really looked at her. Delilah's daughter who'd called me on Father's Day every single year, who'd asked me to walk her down the aisle at her wedding even though I wasn't her biological father, who'd never called me anything but Ellis but meant it with love. "I'll keep an eye on things," I said carefully. "I promise you that." "Thank you." After she left, I made some calls, had my people look into the rezoning project, pull permits, check filings. Nina was right. Camden was using Delilah's name, making promises he couldn't possibly keep, building a house of cards. I decided to let him keep building. Right up until the wind came. I started with the foundations. Delilah had 3 charities under her name: cancer research, women's shelter, youth literacy. I'd funded all 3. Anonymously. The boards thought Delilah was their benefactor. She believed it too. I began removing support. Quietly. Called each organization, 6 months notice, professional. Nobody questioned it. Within weeks, Delilah would get calls, budget shortfalls, programs at risk. She'd realize she couldn't fill them. Then she'd wonder where the money came from. I was working when Camden showed up, unannounced. "Ellis, right?" "That's right. I need an investor meeting." I gestured to a chair. He pitched for 20 minutes. "Big vision, loose numbers. Sounds ambitious. I need the right partners. I'll make calls." He stood, shook hands. "Delilah said you were simple, dependable." I nodded. "That's me." After he left, I called my lawyer. Cut the funding, every penny. The cancellation letter went out Friday. Formal, legal, no explanation. Camden's project lost $300,000 in committed funding. His office called, left messages. I didn't return them. Delilah's boutique received eviction notice the same day. 60 days. Building sold to new owner. She called me 4 times. I watched it ring. Voicemail. Ellis, something's wrong with the lease. Can you help understand the paperwork? I deleted it. My lawyer called. The boutique space was under a lease with a trust I control. Building's mine too. And now I'm terminating the lease. She can't afford market rate, I know. Are you sure? I thought about Delilah's face at the gala, the email planning her exit. I've never been more sure. I drove past the boutique that weekend, saw Delilah inside, on phone, pacing, stressed. I didn't feel satisfaction, just calm, final. The taps were closing, and they had no idea who controlled the water. Camden showed cracks within a week, missed payments, delayed checks. Delilah brushed it off, just restructuring, but it wasn't normal. It was a man realizing his funding vanished. Luther, a contractor I'd worked with, called me. Ellis, Camden delayed payment, 3rd time. Says funding's tied up. Are you still working? Not anymore. Pulled my crew yesterday. Good decision. He's asking about investors, kept mentioning you. What did you say? That I'd ask you. Tell him no. By Monday, 2 more contractors quit. Unpaid invoices. Empty promises. Camden couldn't replace them. The project sat quiet. Half-built. Abandoned. Delilah started asking questions. Camden gave answers that didn't add up. I watched from distance, patient. Because the best revenge isn't destruction. It's watching them destroy themselves. Delilah discovered the truth Wednesday morning. Nina told me. She called crying, said the landlord showed paperwork. The building's owned by some trust. Did she realize? Not yet, but she's asking questions. Nina studied me. Ellis, was it you? The building was purchased 8 years ago through a property trust that you control. Yes. Did Mom know? She knew she had a good lease. Below market rate. She thought she was lucky. She thought she earned it. She did earn running a good business. The favorable terms were a gift. How much of her life did you hold up? More than she knows. 2 days later, Delilah showed up. My assistant tried to stop her. I need to see him. I let her in. You own it. The building. The trust. I didn't deny it. Why didn't you tell me? You didn't ask. I can't afford the new terms. I know. Ellis, please. Check the paperwork. It's legal. You're doing this because I left. No, because you thought I was nothing. I turned away. She left. Delilah's assistant quit the next morning, handed in her resignation with 2 weeks' notice. Her name was Flora. She'd worked for Delilah for 6 years. Loyal, efficient, quiet. She called me that afternoon, voice hesitant. Mr. Granger, I thought you should know I resigned today. Why are you calling me, Flora? Because I've been sending you updates, financial reports, vendor contracts, everything Mrs. Granger handled through the boutique. I went completely still. For how long? 3 years since you asked me to, right after the divorce. You said it was in case Delilah needed help, in case something went wrong. I'd almost forgotten. After the divorce, worried about her despite everything, I'd asked Flora to keep me informed, to watch over her. Flora had been my eyes inside Delilah's business all this time. Why did you resign? Because she's going under, Mr. Granger. The boutique's finished. The eviction notice came. She can't pay vendors, and I can't watch her destroy herself without being able to help. Did you tell her about the reports, about sending me information? No, she still doesn't know. I kept your secret. Good. Keep it that way, Flora. She sighed heavily. Mr. Granger, what are you doing? This seems what? Thorough, calculated, not like the man I knew. Maybe you didn't know me as well as you thought. She hung up without another word. That same day, Camden tried to refinance his mortgage. The penthouse in the city. Expensive, leveraged, perfect collateral for new funding. The loan was denied. He called me directly. Finally got through to my office. Ellis, I need advice. My bank denied a refinance application. Said something about board concerns. Do you know anyone at Sterling Mutual? Which bank did you say? Sterling Mutual. I knew Sterling Mutual very well. I'd served on their advisory board for 5 years. Attended quarterly meetings. Reviewed high-risk loan applications. Board decisions are complicated, Camden. Lots of factors go into them. Can you make a call? Put in a good word for me? I don't think that would help your situation. Why not? Because I'm the one who raised the concern about your application. Silence, long and heavy. Then he hung up without another word. Nina invited me to dinner. Small Italian place. How far are you taking this? I cut my pasta. Take what? Camden's dying. Mom's boutique's closing. You're dismantling her life. I'm removing my support. Not to her. I set down my fork. How far, Ellis? As far as they took my dignity. And where does that end? When they understand what they threw away. Nina was quiet. Camden tried to get me to lie, she said. I looked up, about Mom's connections. He wanted me to call a city planner, create illusion of access. Did you? No, but he asked. When? Last month, before the engagement. I made a note. I didn't tell you so you could use it. I already know who he is, a man who uses people. And you're better? The question landed hard. I loved her, for 22 years, asked for nothing but respect. And she didn't give it. No. Nina squeezed my hand. I'm sorry she hurt you. Me too. The investor exodus happened fast. One backer pulled out, then another. Internal misrepresentation of partnership credentials. Camden panicked, called meetings, couldn't explain. The misrepresentation was real. He'd lied about Delilah's connections. Someone told investors the truth. That someone was me, through my network. Quiet conversations, documented evidence. Camden thought it was a competitor. Never looked at the quiet man in the earth-toned blazer, the one he'd called a sad little guy. Delilah's boutique began liquidation. Everything must go. I drove past one evening, saw her alone, packing boxes. She looked smaller, tired. I felt something, not satisfaction, sadness, for what we'd been. I kept driving. That night, Camden's attorney called. We believe someone's interfering with Mr. Voss's business. I'm just a logistics manager. Are you? I hung up. They were getting close. Too late. The dominoes were falling. Delilah called at 3 a.m. I was awake. Ellis. Her voice was broken. It's late. I need the truth. The boutique lease, the favorable terms. That was you, wasn't it? Yes. The property taxes. Someone paid them. You. Yes. The vendor accounts. No deposits, no credit checks because you guaranteed them. Yes. Long silence. Everything. It was all you. Not everything. You built a good business. But yes, I helped. Why didn't you tell me? Because you needed to believe you did it alone. Ellis, is there something else? My father, his medical insurance suspended. My chest tightened. He's on dialysis. He needs coverage. I'd been paying 12 years. Delilah thought his pension covered it. Ellis, please. Everything's falling apart. You chose to leave. You chose Camden. I made a mistake. Yes, can we fix this? No. Please. The insurance payments stop end of month. I hung up. This was the hardest one. Her father had been kind, but I couldn't keep supporting her family while she destroyed me. I had to let go. Delilah begged Camden to talk to me. Nina told me about the fight. She's screaming, saying he needs to apologize. What did he say? That he'd rather file bankruptcy than beg. I almost smiled. Pride. Next week, news broke. Camden's penthouse in foreclosure, 3 missed payments, items being auctioned. I attended, sat in back, wore a hat, bid on several pieces, won most. Furniture I'd helped choose, art I'd funded. A watch Camden wore at the gala. I bought it all. Not because I wanted it, because I wanted him to know. Final item, crystal chandelier. I raised my paddle, one other bidder. We competed. I won. Camden was there, watching his life sold. Our eyes met, recognition. Then horror. He pushed through, reached me. You, me. You're buying my things. I'm buying items at public auction. This is you, all of it. I stood. No, you destroyed yourself. I just stopped holding you up. Security moved between us. He was escorted out. I collected my purchases, donated most, kept the watch. Reminder of arrogance's cost. Camden finally figured it out, traced the trust funding his first deal. One name, Ellis Granger. He barged into my office, made it past security. You funded me. I looked up. Excuse me? The development trust, 300,000. That was you. I gestured colleagues out. They left. Sit down. I don't want to sit. Then stand. Lower your voice. He paced. You've been sabotaging me from the beginning. No. I funded you. Then I stopped. Why? Because you called me a sad little guy in a building I own. Because you used my ex-wife's name to lie. Because you thought you were better. I didn't know. You didn't care to know. Camden's shoulders sagged. What do you want? Nothing from you. Then why? I stood. You'll finish by filing bankruptcy. Cleanly. Leave Delilah out of legal mess. And if I don't, then I'll make sure every investor knows what you did. Every creditor. I have documentation, recordings, testimony. His face went pale. Leave with your reputation intact, or fight and lose everything. Camden stared. She was right about you. You're ruthless. No, I'm thorough. He left. One more domino. Almost done. The bankruptcy filing hit news 3 days later. Camden Voss Development declares Chapter 11. Delilah's name appeared. Questions about fiancé Delilah Granger's role in alleged misrepresentations. Her boutique filed same week. Couldn't continue. Local business section covered the closure. Small article. Sad ending. I cut it out. Filed it. Nina called. Mom's a mess, I imagine. Enough. You've made your point? Have I? You're destroying her. I'm removing what I provided. That's cruel. Is it? I built her up. Let her believe she was self-made. Now reality arrived. She's asking for you. She can ask. Will you see her? If she comes. No demands. Just honesty. Next evening, car in my driveway. Delilah's sedan. She sat there 10 minutes before getting out. Knocked. I opened. She stood there. No makeup. Tired eyes. Can I come in? I stepped aside. She looked around. You kept everything the same. Didn't see reason to change. We sat. Silence. You were always enough, she said. I waited. I was stupid, greedy. I wanted flash. And now I feel empty. Can we fix this? No. Not even try? I looked at her. You weren't enough. Not because you weren't capable, but because you couldn't see value unless it glittered. That's not true. Then why did you leave? No answer. You can't fix this. She cried. Quiet. Nina walked in. Mom? Nina. What are you doing? Trying to make things right. Nina looked at me. You can't. You can only let it be done. Delilah stood, walked to door, paused. I'm sorry, I nodded. She left. Sunday business section. Camden Voss empire crumbles. It detailed everything. Bankruptcy, repossession, lawsuits. Delilah's name appeared multiple times. It wasn't fair. She hadn't known, but she was attached to him. Her boutique bankruptcy made smaller news. Local business closes after 15 years. I read both articles. Coffee growing cold. No satisfaction, just tired finality. My phone buzzed. Nina? Mom tried to hurt herself. She's okay, but she's not. I called. Is she safe? Yes, I'm with her. She just broke. Everything's gone. Does she need help? She needs to heal. That's not something you can give. No, I wish it ended differently. It ended exactly as it should. Honestly. We hung up. I sat in silence, thought about love, about respect. Then I closed the newspaper, moved on. Delilah showed up crying, mascara running. Ellis, please. I stood in doorway. I'm sorry, truly. Okay, can we talk about second chances? I let her in. We sat. You were always enough, and you weren't. Not enough to be honest, to be grateful, to see past surface. That's not fair. I gave you everything. You left me for Flash. I loved him. Did you? Or what he represented? Silence. I need help. The lawsuits, creditors. I'm drowning. I know. Can you help? No, please. I can't keep saving you. Keep being the foundation while you pretend you built the house. I never. You took credit at every event, every award. She sobbed. Nina walked in. Mom, I heard everything, Nina said quietly. Nina, sweetheart. Ellis already explained 2 weeks ago. Delilah's face went white. What did he tell you? The truth. Nina sat across from her mother. I stood by window. He paid for my education. Full tuition. Graduate school. Delilah's mouth opened. My car. My condo down payment. My wedding. All Ellis. That's not. It is. He has receipts. Delilah turned to me. Why didn't you tell me? You needed to believe in yourself. But now you need to understand the cost of dismissing someone. Nina stood. I'm done, Mom, with the excuses, with watching you take without acknowledging. Nina, please. Ellis was more of a father than my real dad. He showed up. He cared. I know. Do you? You threw him away, called him boring, and now you want him back. Delilah broke, sobbing. Nina looked at me. I'm sorry for her, for this. You have nothing to apologize for. She left. Delilah sat there. Broken. I'll go. Yes. Can I ask one thing? Do you hate me? No. I pity you. You had something real and traded it for something shiny. She stood, walked to door. I loved you, in my way. I know, but your way wasn't enough. She left. I stood in quiet, alone, free. Delilah's birthday came October. She'd always made it an event. This year, small room, few invitations, 3 people showed. Nina told me. It was sad. Mom tried to smile, but everyone saw through it. Did you go? Briefly. Obligation. My phone buzzed during dinner. Unknown number. Check the envelope under your seat. I looked down. Small manila envelope taped underneath. Inside. Birthday card. Generic. Message in Delilah's handwriting. Thank you for everything. I understand now. I'm sorry. I set it aside. Continued eating. Later, I texted back. Acknowledgement doesn't equal reconciliation, but I accept the apology. She replied immediately. I know. I don't expect anything. Just wanted you to know. I didn't respond. My lawyer called with final documents. Delilah signed release forms. All trust connections severed. She was fully on her own. Camden was gone, fled to another state. Bankruptcy complete. Both learning the cost of choices. I filed the papers. For the first time in months, the future felt open. Not happy. Just possible. The envelope contained one document. Trust dissolution agreement. Every remaining connection terminated. Charities I'd funded, safety nets, quiet support, all released. She'd signed it. Let go. Free. Both of us. Camden tried once more. Called from unknown number. Ellis, what do you want? I'm destroyed, but Delilah didn't deserve this. She made her choices. She chose me. That's not a crime. How she left, how she treated me, that had consequences. You won. Can you help her? Buy out her debts? Why would I? Because you loved her. I leaned back. I did love her. That's why this hurts. So you'll let her drown? I'll let her swim on her own, like she wanted. She didn't want this. She wanted independence. She has it now. You're cold. No. I'm a man who learned love without respect is just dependence. He hung up. I never heard from him again. That evening, Delilah came one final time, talked on the porch, October air between us. I'm leaving, Arizona. Fresh start. Good. Nina's staying. She's an adult. She chose you over me. She chose honesty. Delilah's eyes filled. Do you regret loving me? No, I regret trusting you with it. She nodded. Goodbye, Ellis. Goodbye. She drove off. I watched until taillights disappeared. Went inside. Poured a drink. Sat by fire 22 years. Ended. With quiet acknowledgement, honestly. A month later, I gave a speech. Small foundation dinner. I want to talk about invisible support. The room quieted. For years I funded businesses, charities, individuals, behind scenes, through trusts they didn't know existed. Faces showed interest. I believed in the work, not the credit. I pulled out a list. Read names. Camden's first deal, Delilah's boutique, Nina's education, 3 charities, 12 businesses, all mine. The room went silent. Why tell you this? To illustrate a point. Value doesn't require visibility. I looked around. Some people were grateful. Some never knew. Some took credit and dismissed the source. Quiet nods. I stopped supporting those who couldn't see me, not out of revenge, out of self-respect. Speech ended. Room stayed quiet. Then one person stood, started clapping, another joined. Within seconds, everyone stood, applauding. Not for revenge, for the principle, for understanding that respect matters. I nodded, sat down. After dinner, people approached, offered partnerships, real recognition. I accepted some, declined others. On my terms, visibly, proudly. No more hiding. I'd learned being quiet is powerful, being invisible is suicide. There's a difference. Magazine article came December. The quiet tycoon Ellis Granger's hidden empire. Detailed my holdings, trusts, partnerships. Mentioned Delilah briefly. Ex-wife who never knew extent of husband's success. Mentioned Camden. Developer whose first deal was funded by the man he mocked. One quote stood out. Sometimes the loudest move is walking away and not looking back. Said that. Meant it. My phone exploded. Calls, emails, interviews. I ignored most, accepted few. Visibility felt strange but necessary, because being invisible protected others. Not me. Nina called. I saw the article. You look good. Feel strange. Not exposed, seen. There's a difference. She was right. Weekend, I got a letter. Arizona postmark. Delilah. 1 page, handwritten. I read the article. I'm proud of you. Ashamed of me. You were always enough. I just couldn't see it. Thank you for everything, even the ending. I read it once, filed it, didn't respond. Some conversations are finished. Foundation dinner ended with me at podium. This wasn't about revenge. The room listened. It was about restoring the weight of my silence. I thought humility was strength. I was wrong. Heads nodded. Humility is strength when it's respected. But when humility becomes invisibility, when sacrifice becomes expectation, when respect turns to dismissal, silence becomes self-destruction. The room was still. I stopped supporting people who couldn't see me, stepped into visibility, not to hurt them, to save myself. Someone wiped eyes. If you're giving and never being seen, stop. Not out of anger, out of self-preservation. You can't pour from an empty cup. I stepped back. Applause started slow, built, erupted. People stood, clapped, shouted. Not because I destroyed enemies, because I saved myself. Self-preservation is revolutionary. After people lined up, shared stories, similar situations, invisible support. Taken for granted. I listened, connected. Being seen was uncomfortable, but being invisible had been worse. I'd made the right choice. Delilah saw the magazine in Arizona. Nina told me. She bought 3 copies, read it over and over. What did she say? Nothing. Just cried. That chapter was closed. The magazine quote became popular. Social media, motivational posters. Sometimes the loudest move is walking away and not looking back. People contacted me, shared stories, asked advice. I responded when I could. One evening I sat in my study, fire crackling, magazine on table, read my own quote, thought about Delilah, Camden, the years of silence, the final severance. I felt peace, not happiness, peace. I'd reclaimed myself, my dignity, my value. Stopped being invisible, started being seen. Being seen was uncomfortable, but better than being forgotten. I closed the magazine, tossed it in fire, watched it burn. Flames caught, pages curled. Words disappeared. I didn't need the reminder, didn't need validation. I knew who I was, what I'd built, what I was worth. That knowledge didn't require articles, just quiet certainty. Fire warmed the room, winter settled outside. I poured whiskey, raised the glass. To endings, I said, and to walking away. Then I drank, set down the glass, stepped into whatever came next. Free, visible, whole, finally.